Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. This is the fourth day in a row that I've made a video. The reason for this, and the reason I'm trying to go hard, is because I'm wanting to get my watch time on the channel up. I'm getting close to being able to monetize this channel with some ads, and I've been making videos for so long now, not making any money, and I would love to make a little bit of ad revenue. I know it's not going to be a lot, but if I can make just a little and invest that into some of my favorite stocks, I think that would be awesome. So if you like this kind of content, please hit that like button. That way it reaches more people and hopefully it can help me reach my goal faster, and I really would appreciate it. If you want to learn more about selling options, go check out the course link down below. It goes over everything you need to know to sell options, everything that I know at least. And this is something I've been doing for a while now to create an extra income stream, and so far it's been doing pretty good. And if we hop over to my Robinhood account, I want to address something. I moved over some Bitcoin because for gold members, if you moved over some crypto, you got a 2% instant cash bonus. So if I moved over 10 grand worth of Bitcoin, it would pay me 200 bucks instant cash. And I can put that into some of our favorite high yielding income ETFs from Neos. So I wanted to address why the account is up so much over the last few days. I don't want you to think that this is all gains. I'm not going to try to pull one over you. I want to be 100% transparent. Also being transparent, I want to close these 6 options on Sofi. Sofi is up 4% today. I don't know why. I don't think anything's changed. You know, we probably have a rate cut coming up this week, and that's going to go in Sofi's favor, which is great because this is the number one stock in this account. I have, I think, 6,500 shares right now. And these 6 options that I sold have depreciated so much that I would love to free up the collateral from selling these puts and look at selling other puts. And that's the question we're going to ask today is, can I make a couple $100 selling some puts on Sofi as it just continues to skyrocket? And then what do I do with that couple $100 that I make from selling options on Sofi? Well, I buy Sofi shares. And that's how I've accumulated a lot of my shares over time. So let's view all options. And usually when I sell options, I like to sell weekly expiration options. But I think in this case, we're going to go and look at next Friday. And let's say I were to sell 6 all over again, I would probably go with this $25.50 strike put on Sofi. And would I go all in at once with selling 6 right off the bat? Probably not. What I typically like to do is I like to sell a couple, wait a bit, sell a couple more. It's almost my version of dollar cost averaging, but with selling puts. Just because if Sofi were to drop between now and next Friday, I can capitalize on that and maybe look at even a lower strike than this one right here. But 25.50 is actually pretty enticing because it has a delta of a 0.21, so a 79% chance these expire worthless. Has a really good premium, $37 each. And if I were to sell all 6 at this going rate, that'd be $221 just from selling these 6. And I'm not telling you to go out and make these trades. I like to crunch numbers on different trades that I may consider in the future. That doesn't mean that you should go and follow me blindly making these same exact trades. But what you could do is take the information from this and apply it to your favorite stocks. Because you might not want to own Sofi at $25.50. You might not be willing to purchase 100 shares if the price goes below $25.50 by next Friday, which is perfectly plausible. But I want to look at this in terms of ROI, because if the ROI makes sense, then that helps me determine if I actually want to pull the trigger on this trade. So I'm going to head over to my website on selloptions.net. Feel free to check it out for yourself. It has some cool calculators. They're free. Go up here, tools, options, selling calculator. We're going to crunch the numbers for this particular trade. And the expiration of the put that we're going to sell is next Friday. And the expected premium is 37 cents per share. This is per share, so it's exactly as you see it here in Robinhood. The strike price is $25.50, and let's say we sell 6 contracts total in our hypothetical example. Well, the total premium gained $222. But this number right here, I think, is probably the most important. This is how much we're getting in premium relative to how much we have to set aside as collateral. Because when I sell these puts, I have to set aside $2,550 that Robinhood's going to tie up just in case I end up having to purchase these shares. So I have the money to purchase them if the buyer of this option exercises their right to sell me 100 shares at 25.50. And because I'm taking on that risk of helping someone minimize their risk, I'm getting paid $37 from each one of these puts. And the ROI from doing that, 1.45% in 11 days time. And like I said, what am I going to do with that $222? By the way, when I sell these, if I decide to, that money right here instantly hits my cash balance on Robinhood, and I can do whatever I want with it. I can withdraw it to my bank account if I want to, but what I like to do is I like to invest it into my favorite stocks, and in this case, it would go right back into Sofi shares. And then what's beautiful is if I end up being assigned those shares, what can I do? Well, then I can turn around and start selling covered calls on those 600 shares if I'm assigned them. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what is known as the wheel strategy. You sell puts, you keep doing that until you're assigned the shares, and then you get the shares and you start selling covered calls. And then once those get taken away, if they get taken away, then you go right back to selling puts again. And it's just a continuous loop that you can do and generate income. So can I make a couple $100 selling options on Sofi tomorrow if I wanted to? Yeah, probably. Am I going to? We'll see. I'll see if I'm able to buy to close those 6 puts that I previously sold that are basically worthless now relative to where I sold them, and putting that money back to use. Because as Robert Kiyosaki said in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, if you haven't read it, go check it out. It's a good book. The rich, not that I'm rich, but the rich have money work for them. And that's partially what I'm doing here. So thank you so much for watching. Like I said, if you want to learn more about selling options, if you're curious about going over the basics, go check out my course. It's linked down below. It helps out the channel. Like this video if you did like it. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. And let's try to get to 4,000 watch hours. Thank you so much. I hope you have a good rest of your day.